election night. Yeah, anyway, you get the point. It's election night. It's currently 9 p.m. All the stuff's just started coming in as far as Tennessee goes. We're going to talk about who's winning, obviously, in the presidential race, blah, 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 blah. But we'll talk about who's winning in local races, and we'll see what we can find out on those as well. Going to have the guys popping in and out as we do some stuff. So we appreciate y'all for checking in. Obviously, you're not going to be getting this fresh from us. You're going to know all the information beforehand. But this is what we do. So, again, it is the 3rd of November, 2020. We have survived the majority of Election Day, and the world has not ended yet. So, here we go. All right, so it's election night. We're flipping channels between the different news stations, checking on what's going on. Guys are supposed to be coming and going as they please. And we'll go and make some stuff from there. It's been a minute since Florida's come up, but last time I saw Florida, it was 49.4 to 49.9% or something like that. I think Trump had a 0.5% advantage. It's one of those things I find fascinating watching this shit, though, is like you got Sam's in the house. You got a certain states. I think it was not Nebraska. It was I don't know, some New England state a second ago. What up, Sam Alamo? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. All right. Anyway, they have like 0% shown, and they still have a win for Trump in like Vermont, or not Vermont, New Hampshire, I think. Did you see that? I can see your face, but I can't hear your voice. How's that? You hear me now? Nope, still can't hear you. Man, I was having this problem the other day with, dude. Are you talking? Speak. I can see you, yes. I cannot hear you. Tech genius. Like, my shit's hooked up right. Huh. Yeah, kick yourself out and come back. Oh, so anyway, as of right now, we've got, I don't know, minor percentages in. Everybody's chit-chatting about the different states won. Looks like Biden's going to win New York. Surprise. I still can't hear you. Oh, you're muted, that's why. Unmute your shit. This is Quality Entertainment. You're welcome, everybody. Just, here, fuck it. Do it this way. Do. So, yeah. So, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know, that was easier that way. Kicked you out, brought you back in.
Oh, do what now?
All right. It looks like AC's jumping in now on the Zoom version. We'll see how it goes if I can hear him too. I don't know what's going on with that. I was having issues yesterday when I had Mr. Ron on. So Maxa.
I never use Zoom
What was that?
here.
All right, so Max
mute and unmute.
Max knows how to work this shit. So anyway, whether the
I think it's absolutely hilarious. Like, I'm flipping back between like CNN and Fox, and it's so funny how each one of them like spins this whole thing.
Right.
Like they are not talking about the same thing.
Right.
by any means.
That's surprising. I've got it on NBC just because that's what I have available to me in the studio room. It's easier that way.
Well, and it cracks me up. Like it's like some of the states that, which I get why they do it, but it's like, you know, I don't even know. Just pick a state and say, I don't know, New Hampshire, and it was like 69% Trump, and we're giving a check to Joe Biden with 30% reporting.
Right. There's some sort of math they get. Florida, they just showed.
I know they have something that they know that there's no way that Trump's going to win that state, so they're giving a check to Joe Biden. But it's like,
I mean, it's like hell.
Show me numbers. Like Trump's killing it in that state, but somehow they just overlook that and don't even say anything about it.
Yeah. Well, they check. Well, I mean, like he already has a checkbox for Tennessee. Not that that's a surprise, but it's like 1% reported in. And he's like, it's 70% ahead or whatever, but it's like checkbox. It's like, what am I missing? What am I missing here? They just showed Florida a second ago. That's pretty crazy. Florida is Trump's up by like 400,000 votes with about 900,000 remaining ballots remaining to count.
Eligible, yeah.
Yeah. And the Knox County Election Commission is just now starting to pop some stuff up.
Really?
Yeah. So Knox County has Trump's got a total of 94,000. Biden has a total of 76,000. Don Blankenship, whoever that was, got 237. Rocky De La Fuente has 88 votes.
Rocky.
Howie Hawkins, that was you, right, Sam?
Yeah.
271. Joe Jorgensen, 1780.
Boom.
Let's see where Kanye is at. Let's get all the way down to the bottom of this thing.
Yeah, where's Kanye at?
Kanye West has got 255. Damn, Kanye. I expected more from you. Howie Hawkins is outperforming you in Knox County. I'm curious to see what the total presidential ballots counted so far in Knox County, which is all the absentees and the early votes, is 173,529. So 173,000 in Knox County. Haggerty's up on that race, 97,459 to 71,000 on Bradshaw. I ended up voting for Dean Hill after we went over the two of them on the show Saturday. They were the same as Trump and Biden to me.
Yeah.
You were saying you were having a hard time picking between the two, and you didn't go with either one of them.
No, the couch Manus one. That was the one I really had the hardest time probably making a decision on. But let's go down to that one and see what's going on there. Hoyas is beating Burchett right now. Burchett's 86.64. Hoyas 10,785. Massey. Jane George is beating Massey. Jane George I'm sorry, I misread that on Burchett and Hoyas. Burchett has 101,000. Hoyas has 64,000. I read the absentee line wrong. Sorry about that. Massey has a total of 46,667. Jane George has 30,257. Elaine Davis, Gloria Johnson, which is not my district, but it's currently at 89.78 for Elaine Davis, 11.3 for Gloria Johnson. Zachary Justin Davis, Jason Zachary's got 21,000 to 12,700. Sam McKenzie, which is running against nobody, basically.
I saw that. It's funny. I don't know is that Memphis?
No, that's South Knox. That's Sam's district.
I don't remember
South Knox. That
I remember voting for that one.
Most of the races have
like,
3 or 4 people.
Yeah, I mean there was a Troy B. Jones that was a independent candidate, but apparently he wasn't even trying. Manus Couch.
Well, he's not even listed.
To what? They're not going to list.
Look at the election stuff. He's not even listed.
Yeah, they're not going to list an independent unless they actually are in it. I think. I don't know what the rules are, but I'm on the election commission. They're counting. They're showing everything. So as of right now,
come on, Sam, run for South Knoxville.
There you go. Manus is 13.2 and Virginia is 11.9. So they're about 1,200 votes apart right now. And so,
Is it giving you percentage of reported?
Maybe if I can hit the right buttons.
I was just curious.
So
they closed at 8, so I was just kind of curious how fast they are actually counting.
None of the actual ballots have reported yet. This is all absentee and early votes. I mean, it says precincts reporting 0 of 89 at 0%, but it doesn't give the percentage of total ballots. It just gives a.
I never heard if Tennessee is one of the states that does have to wait until 8 p.m. to start counting, or there's a couple states that were able to start processing.
Right, I've been checking it on and off all day. I've been checking it on and off all day, and it's not showing anything until the last hour or so.
Yeah.
God, Trump's ahead by I think I just saw it 600,000 in Texas right now.
Damn.
Yeah, it looks like in the wise verbiage of lawyer Jamie that Moscow Mitch is sticking around in Kentucky. I saw that one a little bit ago. He was 72% or something like that.
It says Rhode Island 43% for Biden, 54% for Trump, and there's a check mark next to Biden.
Yeah, I don't understand how that shit works either.
With 19% reporting, I'm like, I don't understand how they say.
Yeah.
It's just their weird projection, just a little bit of betting. They're like, we're going to go ahead and call it for this person.
Yeah. We don't know anything. We don't know how anyone's voting, but fuck it.
I mean, we don't have money riding on this. We did not bet on this.
We are betting on it. I did a DraftKings had a let me pull it up real quick. DraftKings had a fantasy election.
What?
Yeah, it was a $100,000 grand prize fantasy election draw.
Have you logged on FanDuel yet?
No.
Dude, it's free money. November 1st, FanDuel went live in.
Right, their sportsbook
Tennessee.
opened. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw they legalized that. I didn't know if there was one side or how people exactly were doing it. Apparently, Tennessee's the first state to do complete online gambling legality or something.
Yeah, I bet on last night's game, which is I took it was a crazy teaser. I bet $10 on the Tampa to win and Gronkowski to score a touchdown. And I won $47. I was like, hell yeah. There's some crazy little parlays. You can do a bunch of different parlays on it. It's pretty cool, but they give you new time, sign up, $50 free money.
I'll have to get on there. Well, I mean, because
he didn't make it on.
I don't know what he's doing. He sent me a picture of a diaper change. He had his full gas mask on.
Oh,
well, he didn't go hunting with us today because he was having little issues with his daughter. They had to take her to the doctor.
Might be why the poop is so bad.
Maybe. But me and Austin went, and we didn't shoot anything, which sucks because if we had rifles, we could have shot a bunch of shit.
Because it was
just too far out.
Too far out, yeah. So, Sam and I did predictions. Or do we want to switch to the other one that we didn't do? Was who'd you vote for? Because you voted early too, didn't you, Max?
Yeah, I voted early.
I was guessing
Trump.
You voted for Trump. I thought you were voting for Jorgensen.
No, I didn't. Jorgensen kind of just fell off the fucking in the beginning she was all in it, and then just lately over the last month or so she's I don't know. They ran a terrible campaign for her. Gary Johnson was much more visible. It was just the last month. She's I got my name out there. I don't need to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know. She had a few posts that was what are you talking about? So, no, I voted for Massey. Shit, I can't remember exactly who I voted.
You did Haggerty or Bradshaw?
Haggerty.
Burchett or Hoyas?
I don't know if that was mine, but I think Burchett. I don't remember Hoyt. I voted no on Amendment 1
and 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to check on that on the commission website if they have any results for that in.
Oh, there wasn't very many. There was like 5 people to vote for and 2 amendments. It wasn't much.
Yeah, it was a fairly small ballot.
And you know what's crazy is like some of this stuff you're looking at, and I know that some of the states is they only got a certain percentage reporting, but like sometimes I'm like, what the hell? There's 12 million people in the state, and only 300,000 people are voting.
Yeah. I mean, I saw WBR had a thing earlier where it is a record election for both the state and the county and count. This is the largest election, the largest involvement in an election in the state of Tennessee, and as well as in Knox County.
Well, I know I drove by the high school about 7-ish, I want to say, and like I just on the way home was passing it, and there was a line out the door and down the parking lot, probably, I don't know, 50 yards, and I was like, holy crap. Like, I've never seen it like that, which I really wonder what the turnout.
Yeah, I saw the same thing when I left the house this morning. It was around the building, but I was legitimately under 10 minutes in and out. But I went at like 2 o'clock.
So, did you recognize anybody there?
No, none of the candidates were out.
No, I mean, the people working.
No.
No.
But right now it's on Amendment 1, 31,596 yeses, 133,586 noes. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 30 of those 31,596 yeses didn't understand the question.
I didn't even think I'm like,
I would say
how did I answer that?
Say again?
I would say on both sides of it. Like, of all the numbers, probably 30,000 of them didn't understand
the question. Like we were talking about it on Saturday. Like, it is weirdly worded, and I could see somebody getting confused in it. So, and then on Amendment 2, as of right now, 75,000 yeses, 85,000 no's. So, we are, as a county, are much more down with the idea of the mayor spending more money than not electing the law director. Is what it sounds like. That's what we got so far.
Yeah, just spend money whenever you want.
Yeah, we trust you, Mayor Jacobs, even though your vice mayor and head of Parks and Rec scammed a golf cart for somebody's wife.
Hey, she really wanted that golf cart.
I mean, she jacked up her knee or something. She needed a way to get around. I mean, it's technically
it's in my garage. Okay,
it's technically her golf cart too. She's a county resident. I mean, all right. So when we were chatting back and forth,
the Republicans always have a late run when it comes to voting. Votes that come out, because those people have jobs and can't go in the middle of the day. Come on, that was funny. Come on, somebody laugh.
Ha 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 ha. So yeah, I was joking on the text before we got started about the kids did an election at school on Monday, and
they don't give them 2 choices.
They only got. I don't know. I mean, I didn't follow up to see if they got to a vote for anybody else, but we talk about why is the presidential election so important, and I don't know if this may be a chicken or the egg conversation, in that. The schools are doing it for fun because it's such a big deal to parents and stuff like that. It's such a big deal. Like, there's no way the kids haven't heard about election stuff coming up with the president right now and stuff like that. And so they do it at the school to kind of, get them kind of involved in what their parents and whatever everybody's talking about. Or that's why that may be one of the influences and why it's such a big deal, is because from a young age, it's like, oh, we're going to vote for the president. They don't talk about everybody else that's been on ballots and stuff. Like, realistically, for them in the school, who matters to them in the school? Trump and Biden don't really matter to them in the school. Haggerty and Bradshaw don't really matter to them in the school. It's Couch and Manus and George and Massey and all these state reps is who matters to the school systems. I mean, hell, we're not District 6, but there was a school board seat on the ballot today too. But anyway, my point being, it's like they only give them two choices, the two presidential choices. They don't let them know. They don't mention the fact that there's 9 other people on that ballot for president. So they reinforce the duopoly, and then they reinforce the idea that the president's the only election that matters.
Well, my 15-year-old who's going to, in sophomore in high school, where I was talking to her tonight, she's like, "You voted for Trump, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "I don't know how you can vote for him." And I was like, "Well, why do you not like him?" And she was like, "Well, because he's a child molester." And I go, "Wrong candidate." By the way, but anyway, she just spouted out everything that you hear the Biden camp throw out, like just the rhetoric. And I was like, and she's like, and plus she's a white supremacist. And I was like, "Why is he white supremacist?" She's like, "Well, in my, I remember what class it was, probably politics class or whatever." She said, "We talked about how in the first debate, they asked him to denounce white supremacy, and he refused to denounce white supremacy." And I was like, "Well, what'd they say bad about Biden?" And she was like, "Well, nothing." And I'm like, so how is, it just makes me wonder of educators of being neutral and just pointing out, because you could talk one side what Biden did wrong in the debate, and you can talk about what Biden did wrong in the debate, but her class just talked about what
Trump did.
I said Biden. I said what Trump did bad in the debate. And it's like, is there not aren't teachers supposed to be more neutral? Like, get the kids thinking and on their own and not forcing an agenda. I don't know. That shit kind of bothers me. Like, I don't care if they have that discussion and she decides that she thinks Biden is the better choice, but I'd prefer that to be more real discussion than
right. Let's talk about the pros and cons of each, not let's just talk about the cons of one.
Exactly.
Because that would be a more appropriate classroom conversation.
And to defend the teacher, I wasn't there, and maybe that's all she remembered was all the bad stuff, and he talked about the other things. So I'm not to say, but like, or
she's a proper teenager and anything to piss off her dad.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Shauna was like, "Who do you think should?" She was like, "Who do you think should be president?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm way too young to talk about politics."
That's the right answer.
Good call.
Smart one.
There you go. She's the favorite. Like, okay, so backstory. So I would say around Shauna's age, she's 12. We got Mallory a rabbit, and we had it for about 6 months.
All right, hold on.
We got rid of it.
I don't want to kill your backstory. I do want you to tell the story, but just a quick timeout. So, like I said, I'm watching the NBC coverage, and I go to commercial break. The first commercial break is for it's a Biden Kamala podcast. Somebody's doing a podcast, and it at least visually, I didn't get to hear it, but at least visually, is very pro podcast that is Kamala's the guest on. It says it's actually playing it again, so it's twice in one commercial break. It's next in line Kamala Harris on whatever podcast, some Wondery podcast, a new original podcast hosted by Joy Reid. So Joy Reid has got a podcast that they are promoting in the middle of election coverage, and it at least visually seems very friendly to Kamala Harris. And then everything else is just, hey, this is NBC News, NBC News, NBC News. All these other commercials are NBC News commercials because I'm streaming it. I'm not watching it on live TV. This is the streaming service version. But all the other commercials are like NBC News stories. And it's like, we have hard-hitting, groundbreaking, blah, blah, blah. We pay attention to the news and the stories and blah, blah, blah. Hey, check out this podcast with Kamala Harris. She's great.
Yeah, that's funny.
But anyway, so continue with your story. I'm gonna run upstairs and say goodnight to the kids. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
So Shauna, so Mallory Rabbit, take care of the rabbit. She's here. They're here every other week. So I was like, before you leave, you need to change out the rabbit's cage. And every week she'd change out the rabbit's cage.
Mm-hmm.
And so after a while, it was, sorry, no more rabbit. We gave your rabbit away. And then, so Shauna's at that age and she wanted an animal. And I said, we don't want any more animals. And I said, if you're going to have anything, you're going to breed mice because I buy mice. And so if you're breeding mice, then I can eat the babies. Not me personally, but my animals. And so she's like, yeah, I want mice. So for her birthday, we got her mice, which was last week. And so she set the cage and she's reading about them and learning all sorts of how often you have to play with them. You have to play with them an hour a day for them to be friendly or whatever, but they're pretty friendly. So then she came back this week. So yesterday I went by her room. I was going to tell her, hey, make sure you need to clean out that cage this week. And I walked in her room and I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I just got to finish cleaning out the cage. I was like, so maybe she learned from her older sister. Like, this shit will be gone if you don't take care of it. So it's only 1 week. We'll see in another 3 or 4 weeks if she's still taking care of it. But
I think as long as she's kind of semi-bonding with them. Comes to be her little thing, she'll take good care of him. But it's just kind of like, yeah, I got some mice. Yeah, I got 3 white ones. Like, yeah, they're cool. And they're like,
man, I tell you what though, it was hard finding. It was easy finding male mice. Not so easy finding female mice around Knoxville. We went to like 5 different pet stores because the breeders, they just want male mice. They don't want, if they're bringing in mice, they just want one sex.
Right.
Because they don't want fucking
breed like rice.
Yeah. They don't want a bunch of fucking mice. They just want the amount of mice that they bought to sell. So
she's got a bunch of studs.
Finally found a place that sold. Yeah, they don't want them to breed. So it was hard actually finding 2 mice. You wouldn't think that'd be hard. We actually tried to catch the mice in the house that we had some loose mice, and I was like, once you try to catch them, so she had like a trap and a bait trying to catch the mice. And then I let that go for a few days, and I was like, nope, new traps. Next day, they're all dead.
Yeah, those field mice. Those field mice don't mess around. They know better.
No,
they're from the streets.
Tear through insulation. You'll never find them. Get stuck in crawl spaces, and all of a sudden you just have a funky smell. It's like, oh crap, where did it die?
Exactly. The glue traps work good. You just fucking they work 100% every time, just about. 83% of the vote in North Carolina. Biden's 50. Trump's down 48.
Knox County is now reporting 16 of 89 precincts, so we got 18% in.
Only 18%?
Yeah. 18% is 175,000, so that ain't right. There's more. That's that 18% completed districts. So there's portions of the other ones in there because I mean we only have about 400,000 voting residents, I think, give or take. Like if everybody that's eligible to vote that lives in Knox County voted in Knox County, I think we're around like 380, 400,000, something like that. So we've already got 175 voted for at least in the presidential race. So we got about half of eligible
so that'd be
voters
almost
already
50%. Yeah,
right. Which would be average. We'd already be at average historically, at least for the state. I don't know what the county is on average, but the state on average is about 48% voter participation. So we're going to beat that for sure.
Trump's winning the popular vote. See, that's what's going to happen. Biden's going to win, and then Trump's going to win the popular vote, and then all these fucking Republicans are going to be like, Popular vote, popular vote, popular vote. Why is he not president? Which is the same thing the Democrats did. Freaking.
I don't think that's happening. If anything, it's going the other way, like it did last time, because that's one of the things that's been talked about a lot, is people talking about how it's like, it seems when you start talking presidential election conversation, the assumption is that Trump's going to lose. Ooh, Florida. Oh, hold on, sorry, damn it. It's 51-49 Trump in Florida. I didn't see how many were left in the to vote. It's still too close to call. Trump's down 0.5% in Texas. Those are the big two.
Hanging chads in Miami-Dade.
Yeah. 0 in from Arizona yet. Trump's winning Michigan. Surprise. Not really. I think I'm not surprised Trump's winning Michigan at all. He's behind in North Carolina right now. Ooh, Biden's up 50.7% in Ohio. 50.7%.
My internet went out. I don't know now.
Mm-hmm. Trump's up in North Carolina currently. They just gave Alabama to Trump. Or Mississippi. Alabama. Sorry.
Ohio, 50-40, well, 49 almost in Ohio.
North Carolina is a difference of 85,000 with 1.2 million estimated remaining to vote. Not to vote, but to count.
That's a lot.
I mean, really, real big question here to me tonight is if we're going to have anything definitive tonight. Because that's been the prediction. That's been the big media prediction, is that tonight's going to come to a close, and it's going to be too close to call, and we're going to be weeks of mail-in ballot counting and shit like that before we actually get an announcement. And if both campaigns stick to their word of not conceding at any point, which I think that's the most fucked up thing, realistically. I don't know if Hillary did it or not, but I know in a number of the past elections, like it'd be 10 o'clock, half the ballots are in nationwide, and one candidate concedes.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't even matter. The count doesn't really matter. I guess historically it's always finished.
Well, is it how does it work if the candidate, what is the word?
Concedes?
Concedes? Yeah. If the candidate concedes, does that mean that it doesn't matter if the election came out?
Right. It's over. They quit. And so whomever they concede to wins. If neither concedes, then they actually bother with the real full count.
Okay. Trump's only up 20,000 in Texas and Ohio, and then Biden's up 20,000 in Ohio. But it's funny when you look at the maps when they break down the counties. Like when we look at Ohio, it's completely red, except for like four counties:
Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati, probably.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny how that's.
It's
I understand it's by population, but
right, but
weird
it's
when you look at it that way.
Yeah, for sure. But it's one of those. It's the metropolitan areas that we've talked about.
Well, I mean, that used to be part of the Rust Belt. It used to be predominantly Democratic.
Right.
Back when a lot of factory workers...
if they did some gerrymandering and said that like each county was one vote, it would always be Republican. I think California would probably even be Republican.
Maybe that'd be an interesting one, but oh man, I got reamed.
Yeah, like when you look at Florida's all red except for like Miami-Dade and Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
I got reamed a couple times on Facebook today when I announced my vote.
Why'd you announce your vote on Facebook?
I mean, actually, well, as normal, I didn't actually announce it specifically, but it was, it's a Todd post. I got to get in on a Todd post.
So, I don't know if you saw my wife's post that her heart is broken because Jennifer Aniston posted on Facebook that she's voting for Biden.
Is she surprised? I don't
my
understand.
Heart is broken. And so I posted on Jennifer Aniston's post that you're removed from my celebrity exemption list.
Oh, so Right. So Todd did a post about, I guess Ezra Klein, whoever that is, quote, Donald Trump deserves to lose this election and to lose it by more than he will. He has governed cruelly and he has governed poorly. And then blah, 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 blah from there. Is
that the head of the Republican person?
No, Ezra. I don't know who Ezra Klein is. I'm sure we could look it up.
Oh, I thought you said Todd Fromeyer.
Yeah, that's who did the post, and he said, "I agree with Ezra Klein," and then runs the quote from Ezra Klein.
Oh.
But he goes on to say that's one more reason to vote, even if you live in a place where the vote will be lopsided. Tennessee, voting is an act of judgment, of voice. Raise your voice so the politicians who come next can hear it. And I chimed in and said, I agree as well. I went down and voiced my disdain for both parties' inability to put forth a candidate whom passes what I would consider a basic quality test. And then the shit show ensues because it's like, what are you saying? You're saying Biden and Trump are the same level of bad? It's like, I don't know if they're the same level of bad, but out of the 20-something candidates the Democrats had in the early part of the thing, that Biden was the one that somehow came out on top. I don't buy that shit. That he's, we've talked about it a million times how much of a shit show these two candidates are, period.
So did they say, did you get into you wasted your vote?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Again? Yeah. Right. One particular person stated that then as a practical matter, you went down and voted for Trump. And I said, if you say so, because, there's no argument against whatever logic gets that there. And somebody came to my aid and said that I'm sure his Trump supporting friends have told him that as a practical matter, he voted for Biden. Why can't people wrap their heads around the notion that a vote for a minor candidate may actually be a show of support to that candidate, or at least a rejection of the larger party's candidates, like he said. And then it goes on right there, blah, 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 blah. And then the person, whoever said whatever that I said, if you say so too, comes back and says, I do say so. Just like the damn progressive/liberals that were too damn pure to vote for Hillary Clinton and thus brought us the Supreme Court and federal courts that we now have. And I said, that was more, so what did I say next? Problem is, I don't know what you mean by a conventional candidate anymore. Democrats used to stand against war, blah, blah, blah. And that is why I'm not voting for either party candidate. And maybe instead of telling me how bad Trump is or how wasteful I am with my vote, you should have focused on selling me on what is good about your candidate. And they say back to me, maybe you should stand up for democracy.
What?
Yeah, and I said,
whose was this?
This was just comments inside this post. I'm not gonna drop name on him.
No, I thought it was the teams or whatever that have been texting people like, hey, get out the vote.
Oh no, I did get some more Bradshaw ones of those days. But this person
So it's back to the thing. You should vote as long as you're only voting for one of the two people.
Mm-hmm. And said I must. All right, I missed the point. Missed the point of quote doing more civic duty or rock the vote or make your voice heard. I didn't realize those people pushing for that only meant if I vote for an established party candidate. Fuck, to think I thought democracy is about standing up for your own beliefs. Damn it. And then it went silent from there because nobody wanted to argue with me anymore. But that one, I've had a bunch of these where it's like I'm not okay with these two candidates. I'm not voting for either one of them. And the waste of vote bullshit, and you didn't do your part, or you basically handed it to whomever the enemy is, whoever I'm talking to's enemy. And it's like, at some point, at what point do we change anything if we just have to stay on the line? And I just don't like it. It bothers me.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't.
Well, it's like the argument I had the other day. It's like if you're wasting your vote by voting for a candidate who realistically can't win, if you're in the state of Tennessee and you voted for Biden, then you wasted your vote by their definition of wasting your vote.
Yeah.
Because nobody realistically thought Biden would win the state. Nobody thought that. All the Biden supporters we're going to do the best we can, but he's not going to win Tennessee. We're going to do the best we can. And it's like, well, if your rule is if your candidate doesn't have a chance to win, then you're wasting your vote for voting for them. Then if you voted for Biden in the state of Tennessee, then you wasted your vote by that logic. So I'm just as wasteful as every Biden voter in the state of Tennessee. Except I didn't vote for Trump, so I get that plus, right? I did like Todd's take on my statement was, at least you didn't vote for Trump. And I was like, see, by being who I am, everybody can paint it as a win.
I thought Todd was the Republican guy. Is he not the Republican guy?
No, Todd is a Democrat. Todd is a super Democrat.
Oh, he's okay. I remember. Okay, I know who Todd is now. Sorry.
It's all good.
I'm thinking about the Republican head of the Republican guy.
Randy Pace.
Randy Pace. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's what confused me. I was thinking that it was Randy Pace was agreeing with the other guy, and I was like, "You've lost me there." Okay, that makes so much more sense now.
Speaking of party chairs, let's see if we can have a good time. So I still think Trump's going to win this thing. I don't know. Any other predictions on any other seats of importance? Anybody got predictions?
I'm going to go with what all the news stations are saying. Whoever wins Florida and Ohio. If Trump wins Florida and Ohio, he'll win the election. So we're just down to 2 states now.
Okay.
So that's all it matters.
Well, what if one wins one and the other wins the other?
But then we're fucked. Then nobody wins, and then what you have to do is give it to the place that had the 3rd place votes, which is Joe Jorgensen, right?
Yeah, sure. I'll take it. Screw any logic behind it. We'll just take it. We'll steal a win.
Oh, Trump took a lead in Ohio, 49-48. See, all the working people got off work, went to go and vote.
Well, what's been interesting to me too in watching coverage is it's all like they've talked about it all week, and about how we should expect a large red turnout tonight, but as all these absentee and mail-in ballots start coming in, then the blue's going to come back.
See, so did the people have till today to mail in their ballot?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure here in county, if you got it to the post office downtown by 5, I think it wasn't the 8 o'clock cutoff, but if it was by 5 or whatever and was in the mail, like this is how ridiculous the mail-in balloting thing is to me. Is that you still have to have put a first class stamp on it, but they're literally going to take it in a mailbox and walk it over to the city county building.
That's funny.
But as long as you got it to the downtown post office by, I think it was 5, it would be counted, was what they were saying on.
I wonder. So, like, obviously, it wasn't like Trump said, where everyone's getting these ballots in the mail. I didn't get a fucking ballot in the mail.
No, because Tennessee did not allow that. That was a state by state thing.
Yeah, I think you had to request it in Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee, you had to request it, and fear of COVID was not an excuse to not go vote in person.
I want to say there was some state that I don't know if it actually had just.
NBC is projecting Haggerty won Tennessee. Sorry.
But I want to say there was one state that you had to wait, or as long as you had a postmark today, they were still accepting mail-in ballots. If it was postmarked by today, some of them had to be
right, which means it has
received by that day.
Right. If it's been postmarked, it's at a post office.
Right.
But at least in Knox County, as far as I understand, it had to be at the one post office.
I want to say someplace said they would take it up until Friday as long as it was postmarked today at least. Well, you wouldn't drop
Tennessee
it off. So
Tennessee did do mail-in voting.
We've always had absentee. I mean, the absentee just is the same as it's always been.
Yeah, they call it mail-in voting because you're mailing it in.
The extra mail-in voting.
Right. That's where to me, that's where Trump fucked up on his pitch against it. Is he didn't clarify the difference. It was the unsolicited, which some states do already too, but where it would be everybody gets a ballot in their mailbox. Period. But mail-in voting historically has been, hey, I'm out of the country, I'm out of town or something like that, and you can request it. And part of the request is you have to have A signature on file already, but B, a reason. It can't just be, I don't feel like going to the polling station. I want to just be lazy.
Do you wonder if there's going to be any of this, like the hanging Chad in Florida kind of thing, where there was a mail-in vote and voted vote, so they just toss it out, and then there's going to be a whole hoopla?
Maybe a bunch of provisional ballots, and they're going to have to sort through a bunch of provisional ballots to see if they also had a mail-in to go with it. There was a couple behind me that it just moved, and they had to do provisional ballots because they said they registered at their new address, but they weren't on the books yet. For some reason, they weren't in the book, so they got.
That's what I had to do 4 years ago when I voted, because I went to the mailbox and post office and changed my address, and they said, "Do you want your voters changed too?" And I was like, "Yeah." And like, cool. So then when I went to go down and vote with my wife, they're like, "We can't find you." I was like, the post office said they did it. And Letty was like, "Yeah, they always say that, but they don't really ever do that. You have to go and change yours." So when I moved to this address, I went on the website and changed me and my wife's location to here. So when we went down last week and voted, they had us both on file for, it was, oh yeah, we got right here. But so 4 years ago when I did it, they were like, "Oh, we'll put you in as a provisional ballot after we like research of where you live and all that kind of stuff." But I mean, I voted, but I don't think my vote was ever really counted in anything.
I mean, I would assume there's a process for it. They would go through the process. The hope is that it's not an overwhelming number. That's the big problem, was a huge number. I mean, I would say that it's not abnormal to have a handful of people at every polling station that have some sort of issue like that, and that they have a system for it.
Well, I want to say that they said something like the provisional ballots are only counted if it's going to make a difference. So if you have, say you have 1,000 provisional ballots, but one guy won by more than 1,000, they don't even do it. I don't know. That's kind of how it seemed.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too, I guess, if the difference in the actual ballots is enough that all the provisional ballots put together wouldn't make up the difference, what's the point in going through the paperwork? That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would like to be like, hey, I want my ballot to count, even though it doesn't make a difference.
How much it counts?
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't count. Stupid fucking voting people in Tennessee.
Yeah, Ohio right now 49.5 to 49.2. Well, Biden's pulling out in North Carolina 50.3 to 48.6. Biden's winning Minnesota. Who gives a shit? Who's going to win Minnesota? It's like talking about Tennessee.
Damn, Minnesota football team looked good this week, though.
Yeah, shut up.
What the hell happened to your boys?
I don't know, man. I'm not pleased with that. It was just that was a frustrating game to watch.
I tell you, like, if we still did the last man standing this year, we'd be fucked. Like, I don't think there's anybody left yet, because there's been so many, like, the Titans are losing this week. Who the hell they play?
I don't remember. Somebody they should have beat. I'm glad they lost, though, because then I split the bet with my neighbor, so I didn't have to pay.
Your neighbor. Yeah. You still play poker with him?
A little bit, not often. I don't have the lucrative pay to play system that he used to put together for me, but I mean, it just got to it was every day, get in here. It's like, I got other shit to do. And, certain times it was nice because I'd get in there, I'd get paid, I'd get paid by the hand. It didn't matter if I won or lost as long as I played. If I was folding laundry or something, it's like, fine, whatever. I'm folding laundry and I'm half paying attention. But then it was
you
all
do
the time.
Women's work?
I mean, yeah, I fold laundry, yes.
Next thing you know, you just tell me you did the dishes.
I mean, do you want me to lie to you or whatever? But I don't know. I mean, yeah, and I do the laundry too, even though I don't know exactly what the tennis balls are for in the dryer.
I don't know what the tennis balls are for.
I mean, I know they're there. I know they're there for a reason, and it's a logical reason. I just don't 100% know what it is. But oh,
When I go to your house, I'm just put random shit in places. You'd be like, there must be a reason for this. Why is there a golf club in the dishwasher? I don't know, but I'm leaving it there.
it keeps the water hot longer.
The metal attracts heat, keeps
Yeah.
hot water hotter.
Right. Right. It's like cooking with cast iron. It
I
stays hot
guarantee we
longer.
can get that going.
Uh-oh. Rowdy found something.
Let's see, Massachusetts, Biden. Come on, scroll faster. We can read a lot faster. So it says Michigan is 55% Trump.
Yeah.
With 26.
Yeah, it looked like Michigan. Trump's going to take Michigan, it looks like.
They were just talking about Trump was not going to take Michigan.
No, I said he was. I think it's going to win. It looked like he was
No,
going to
no, earlier.
Oh, they were?
Like, a little while ago.
Who was saying it?
This TV.
No.
He's winning Ohio. He's down in Pennsylvania, though. That's not surprising. He's winning Texas by 300,000. Trump's winning Wisconsin by like 30,000. Arizona, there's nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
Trump's up 400,000, almost 400,000 in Florida now.
yeah, and when they were talking about it earlier, as the polling locations close, Graham's going to hold his seat in South Carolina. As the polling locations close, they start in Miami and the Keys, and they work their way up through the Panhandle. And apparently, the Panhandle is much more Republican over historically. So
yeah, I saw that too.
Basically, what I was hearing was that if Trump's closer ahead as they get up to, other than like Tallahassee, everything else of those last sections of the state we're up to 31.
I thought it would be.
We're up to 35% of the count of Knox County has now jumped in officially from the commission's website, because it's 185,000 total votes for president, at least, with the big Donald J in Knox County is at 100,594 and Biden is at 81.5.
When they say 36% reporting, does that mean 36% of the voting population reporting?
No, it's 30%. 31 of 89 precincts have closed their reports, is what I gather it to mean. So, like, each polling station is a precinct. So, I guess what yours is the high school right there. Where do you vote up in Halls?
Halls High School.
Yeah. So when Hall not when Halls closes, but when they actually submit their numbers.
Okay.
That's when they count that precinct is counted. That's what I was saying earlier. I think so what it is.
When saying, like, okay, so let's say you have, let's go to a state like, let's go to New York. So whatever New York City county is it, if there is 100 counties in New York and it says 99% reporting, but the city of New York has not, or the county of New York has not reported?
That is a valid question.
Is that 1%?
That is a valid question. I would
So
assume. Yeah, I would assume that's right.
It's swing.
Well, it's precincts reported, so I would assume it would be there's thousands of precincts in the state of New York, and if all of them except the city precincts.
Yeah, I was just trying to make it simple,
right,
where even if it says 30% reporting, but that 30% reporting is 90% of the state.
Right, I think that's what they're talking about when they're.
That's how they can call it.
Right, that's how they're calling states, because it's like like when they show the close-ups of these state maps, they show it breakdown by county, and so they know from there kind of what's expected moving forward. Just like we were talking about the Florida, as it moves up the Panhandle, they expect those to be red districts in Florida because they're traditionally red districts. And
Florida's 91% reporting, and Trump's up 51-47.
All right, that's the big one. That's the big early one. I mean, it'll be California doesn't count. Texas, Arizona are the West Coast or the Western ones that are of consequence.
Yeah, because California, Oregon, and Washington are going to be all Biden.
Right. So apparently, my oldest for homework tonight was supposed to tell everybody got assigned a state, and he got assigned Alaska. He's supposed to tell who won Alaska when he gets to school tomorrow. So are you trying to keep him up all night?
Oh shit! Yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
Alaska. They'll be the last one that closes.
I mean, I would assume.
Well, maybe not. After all 6 people vote, I mean, it should be easy to figure that out, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. But I would assume historically Alaska is probably a red state. I don't know that though. Sam, thoughts?
I have no idea what Alaska would fall into.
No. I think Sam's actually doing his job and not paying attention to us anymore. I guess that's a good thing, right?
Oh, he's closing on the store at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. But he's still on the phone. He's just not, I think he muted it so he wasn't, all the background noise of him working wasn't there. So that was nice of him. It's kind. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a good, I mean, again, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see when Alaska starts reporting. Because, I mean, I guess it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon there?
Well, it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Yeah.
6.
So if their polls run till 8 also.
Well, no, they might be 7.
Damn, North Carolina is tight. So here's that's the first time I've seen him show any third party influence on the presidential race on just now in North Carolina. It's other presidential votes were 1.1%, and the two candidates are within 1% of each other. So literally, the third party vote is actually affecting that one. Assuming that the third party vote would go all one way or the other, which isn't necessarily true, because I think the Green Party guy was going to steal more Biden votes than Joe Jorgensen would. Figured Joe would have done pretty good in South Carolina since that's her home state, but
you would think. Okay, so Alaska is 10 now, 9, 8, 7. It's 6. Hawaii is 5.
Gotcha. So either way, they've got at least a few hours before their polling stations will start closing and reporting, no matter what we do. So,
I'm texting my 18-year-old that voted.
Oh yeah, gonna find out, get some answers. Ron McPherson yesterday was not as explosive as I hoped, but it was interesting. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Like I told him, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this as a story and chop it up. Like either way, I will post the entire interview because I don't want to have an edited interview released. I'm going to release the whole thing, but I think I might do some more research and take some other components and kind of put them together in more of a story mode than just a straight interview mode. It was interesting. I don't know. I'm more confused. I want to say the Knox County transportation budget for schools is $20 million a year on average. And I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money. Again, it might be a totally normal amount of money, but alas, my ignorance shows.
She said, I asked her, did you vote? She said, yes. I said, did you vote for Trump? She said, no, Dad. I'm gay. Why would I vote for Trump?
Because you're more than just a gay person? That's not all you are, right? Or am I wrong? Is that it? Is that her entire identity is gayness?
Yeah. So I'm going to text her back and say, because he legalized same-sex marriage, and see what she says. And she doesn't know.
I don't know that. Did he?
No, I don't think he did. I don't know who did.
Yeah, nobody did, and that's the fucked up part. That's the part about that one that's a problem to me.
Wasn't it federally? Didn't it make it federally? Like,
right?
Did somebody in Tennessee get in trouble?
There was a number of states. There was the Kentucky lady that was refusing to issue marriage license. That was a big story.
Yeah.
But no, what it was a number of states had legalized it. Oh, Florida, Trump's pulling out a pretty good lead. He's up by 400,000. That's not a very good lead. Oh, he took the lead in Texas too.
Yeah.
But so it was the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is what made it federally legal. It wasn't a law. There's no law on the books at the federal level that says same-sex. I think the Supreme Court pushed it under like the Civil Rights Act or something like that. But it's not. There's no standalone same-sex marriage law in federally, as far as I understand it. It's that there's something deep down in the Constitution about if a certain percentage of states all have the same law, then it needs to be the same law across all states. And so there was like 30 something states that had legalized gay marriage, and so the Supreme Court ruled that if that many states have it legalized, then it has to be legal in all 50. Because again, I don't care. I'm fine with people getting married however they want to get married. But it was actually a ballot item many elections. I don't know how long ago it was, but it was a ballot item here in Tennessee, and it was voted down by residents of the state of Tennessee.
Well, back in the day, I was kind of, I wasn't against same-sex unions, and it was kind of the whole, well, the marriage goes back to biblical times and goes back to marriage, is a thing between you and your husband and God and all that kind of stuff. How, it kind of progressed, and it was like, well, you can call it whatever you want, but just don't call it marriage. That was my stance. Like, I didn't care if what people chose to do in their personal life or whatever. But I was like, oh, just don't call it marriage. Call it something else. And then I came to the realization, why the fuck do I care what people call whatever? Do what you want.
Right.
You want to call it marriage?
Right.
You want to call your wife a whore? You want to fucking say you're in love with a dog? I mean, there's a lot of things that I think people do that are stupid, and that's the last thing I need.
Yeah, that's a very libertarian stance on it. It's just like, what's the title have to do with it? The problem, I don't know, whatever. I don't feel the need to go down that road, but yeah, that's a weird. Again, like I don't have any issue with it. I'm fine with it. I think it should be, at least as far as the legal protections of marriage. If it is in your best interest, legally speaking, to be married as a couple versus to be union or whatever it is, then sure, you should be able to get married. That doesn't make any sense that you shouldn't. But I don't understand how. It bothers me that Supreme Court just blanket pushed it on all states, even though certain states, including Tennessee, said no. Like, I think Tennesseans were wrong. They should be like us and say, I don't fucking care, do what you want. But the process matters to me. And I don't like that the Supreme Court overruled a state decision like that. That bothers me.
Yeah.
But again, I think the state of Tennessee as a residency was wrong to say no to that. I think it should be just like we're talking about. Who cares? Do what you want to do. Be happy. But I don't know. That's just a weirdism to me that I don't particularly care for. Oh, Trump's in the lead in Ohio by 120,000. I'm really curious though. I was talking to Matt Shears. I was texting with him earlier this week, making fun of all the flyers I get for the Manis Couch campaign. And he said somebody at the state, I guess somebody from the state party who has who's more knowledgeable than he is, obviously, or us especially, was saying that it might be the Manis Couch race might be dozens of vote difference in the final, as far as like their projections and what they're hearing from their crews and whatever, however they predict these kind of things. So I'm checking back on that one currently. As of right now, it is 15,611 for Menace, 13,313 for Couch. So it's 2,000 people right now different. And that is with 59 of 89 precincts reporting. Which I guess, though, I don't know. It doesn't break down which precincts have reported, because obviously your precinct has nothing to do with that. I don't know which precincts. If I knew which precincts, it might already be done. Won't know that until later, until 100%'s in. Pennsylvania's too early to call. That's another one that was a question state, right?
Pennsylvania, yeah. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Florida are the big ones.
Yeah.
Texas.
North Dakota. Trump won North Dakota. Congratulations on 3 votes.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Now I'm on Fox, and now I'm going to local stuff. Tim Burchett is up 67%.
Yeah, I think Burchett will keep his seat. I think
It's funny when you're watching the news and they have like a reporter that has no one around them, and she's wearing a Corona mask. Like empty stairs, empty hallway, empty seats behind her. It's like, oh.
Trump wins Indiana. I don't know if that's a surprise or not. Pretty solid win.
I almost forgot about you guys. In fact, you're still there.
Yeah, we thought you fell asleep on us like Max likes to do.
No, I'm just
yeah. I didn't take any gummies tonight.
Yeah, we know you're working. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. We ain't mad at that. But I guess none of my call-ins are going to come through. It's a bummer. Try to get Randy and or Matt to check in. Oh, bother. Oh, well, what you missed while you were gone, Sam, is it looks like Trump's looking pretty solid on winning Florida. It looks like to me, and that's the first major
on Florida.
Yep, they haven't called it yet, but one of the guys was just talking on the show about how, like, the panhandle of Florida is the section that hasn't reported yet, and that is traditionally a red section of the state. Because, I mean, essentially you're in Mississippi and Alabama anyway. I haven't seen any big shifts in the Senate or House races either. Graham kept his seat.
No.
Graham looks like he's going to keep his seat. McConnell's going to keep his seat. That was one of the big ones. The guy, whomever from Colorado, I don't know if it was incumbent or whatever. Colorado's senator is going to be a Democrat, it looks like. And that was one that there was discussion of maybe shifting sides. Right now, Trump's winning the popular vote by 2 million. But California's not in, so that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, she voted for Biden. It's funny.
Who did?
My daughter for the first time, for her being 18 and voting.
It's a bummer to have your first election be a loser.
She said,
That's funny. I think
she said, no, Dad, because I'm gay. And why would I vote for Trump? And I joked and said, because he legalized same-sex marriage. She said, he also made it illegal for transgenders to join the military in his 3rd year. His team wanted to overturn the idea that religious groups could deny me adoption based on the First Amendment, which I'm not going to get an argument with her. But so you want to, it's like, I don't have a problem with that. you're a religious group that is doing adoption. So now you need to break your moral beliefs for somebody else. That's like saying that a doctor has to do an abortion because it's your legal right to have an abortion. You know, I mean, if it's a private religious group, you should mandate that they change their beliefs. Like, I don't have a problem with that. And now a Supreme Court justice bringing back those same ideas. Same-sex marriage was legalized in 2015. That's Obama.
She nailed you.
I'm good. I'm glad. I'm glad she's looking at
good. Absolutely.
Like, I'm proud of her.
Yeah, I agree. Because that was my thing. We were talking, me and the kids were talking a couple weeks ago. We were driving somewhere, and one of them said, the oldest said something about who he would vote for if he could or something like that. And I was like, why? And he took that as me telling him it was the wrong answer. And it's like, no, you're entitled to whatever pick you want to pick. You need to have a valid reason behind it, not just because. Oh, Trump's up by 500,000 with 95% in Florida.
Yeah, I told her, I said, I was just messing with you. I said, but Trump isn't anti-gay. I said, just do your own research. Don't let the media mislead you.
Unless you're listening to our podcast, because that's the truth.
I said, you're more Republican than you think. I'm glad you voted.
There you go. She at least offset your Trump vote. So again, we're not that it matters. We're in Tennessee, so
yeah, it was a waste of her vote.
She wasted her vote by by the logic that has been explained to me. That was a wasted vote.
But the sad thing is what, and you know, I fall into the category also a little bit, but like it just takes a few views to state what you think you are, whether it's Republican or Democrat. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That was one of the guys that was arguing with me, or one of the people. I don't mean to say guys, but one of the people arguing with me earlier is that the Democrats have done more to earn my vote. It's like, okay, I'm down with that. I can respect that. If there's more things that you agree with what they're doing, and that is the logic you're going with, because there's no such thing as a perfect candidate, probably to most people. That's fine. If 7 out of 10 things on your list, one side's good with, and the other side's is only 4 out of 10 on things you agree are good ideas, then that's perfectly reasonable logic. But at least you go through that list at least you need to go through that list and not just have it be one or two. Single issue voting is probably the grossest thing to me.
No, there are people.
I mean, abortion's one of them.
My mom being one of them, that will never vote Democrat because of abortion.
Right.
Which, you know, it's not to get on an abortion kick, but I was thinking about this the other day, is because we had this conversation on the cast a couple episodes ago. Maybe it was last episode. No, the episode before last. And abortion came up, and then you know, when I bring up that, you know, abortion is, you know, legal to the third trimester, and most people are like, oh no, it's not legal to the third trimester, and let's not argue that debate right now. But the people that say that it's not legal to the third trimester, why are they saying it's not legal to the third trimester? And so it's funny that you say, well, it's a woman's choice. It's not a child. It's the woman's choice to choose. It's only the woman's choice to choose if it's in the first 2 trimesters, not the third trimester. So then now we are not arguing. So the whole argument is not about woman's choice. The whole argument is about when you think that is a person and not a person. So that's where the whole argument goes into skew. Because if you say that a woman can have an abortion in the first and second trimester, not the third trimester, then you're not arguing it's a woman's right to choose. Because the woman's right to choose, she should choose all the way up until baby pops out her vagina.
Right. Well, and to save the not going into that argument now, I'll say I see what you're getting at.
You know what I mean? I mean that's why the whole argument is always skewed, is because you are not, either side is never arguing the same thing. They're arguing over different stuff. You know, it's kind of like this whole gun argument where the Democrats are arguing over, we shouldn't have fully automatic weapons and 30-round magazines.
And what's the definition of an assault rifle?
You're taking my shotgun away.
Right.
And it's like, that's not the argument. Right. Neither one of you guys are arguing the same argument.
Right.
But that's exactly how it comes down to is, I joked with AC about, hunting, and he couldn't hunt today because he had some other stuff. And I was like, this might be your last day to hunt. Biden gets elected, all guns are going to be gone, which is obviously full of shit.
Right.
But that's what the far right Republicans want to make you think, that if Democrats get elected, all guns are gone.
Right.
So it's funny how it's just a few, like, people don't argue the same things. They don't argue. I think, who was I arguing with one time about, weapons? I was like, well, people shouldn't have fucking RPGs. Like, I agree with that. People shouldn't be able to go in fucking Walmart and buy an RPG. They're like, oh, it's our right to bear arms. I'm like, no, you're stupid. Now you're being dumb, saying that people should be able to buy RPGs at Walmart.
I mean, the argue would be, that sounds like an argument you might have with Anthony, but
no, it wasn't Anthony. It might have been might be Evan back in the day.
My argument about if the government's allowed to have it, I should be allowed to have it. So if they're going to ban the sales of RPGs to citizens, then they're not allowed to have them either. Okay.
So, yeah, on that same argument, fucking president can have Secret Service people. I need Secret Service people, right? Government's got Secret Service people protecting them. I need Secret Service people protecting me.
Well, that's supposed to be the police, but
no, I don't have a police person sitting outside my house 24 hours a day.
No, you don't.
No, but fucking senators and fucking, I don't know if senators have it. Who all has Secret Service? Presidents and former presidents?
They have 100% all the time. I mean, I'm sure there's other security personnel for certain people's.
Yeah, Speaker of the House, fucking Nancy Pelosi probably has somebody. That's interesting, though.
And then I'm minus.
I mean,
who has Secret Service?
I don't know.
All right, I got to switch back to, we're on local fucking politics now, and nobody cares about local politics. Just
I do. Who's winning? Who won? Come on now.
No, it's the Fox. I don't know. This woman, they always have the political analyst on the Fox channel, and I fucking hate her. She's stupid.
The local Fox channel?
40 because I took it.
Yeah, the local Fox channel.
Oh, we're still at 59 precincts in Knox County. That's what I'm waiting for.
Oh, Obama and Mitt Romney. They're looking at Michigan, Obama and Rip Romney. Like, they're like pulling out all of the stuff. But now Trump's up 50 to 47 in Michigan.
All right, so here's a question. Do you think that by rule they should not report any until all precincts are closed? To not sway a vote because people will literally vote for who they think is going to win off of what they know already?
That's a good question. Would people vote? Like, if you're in California sitting at your house going, oh shit, like, does that, California's not a swing state, so it doesn't fucking matter if all the Republicans get out and fucking start voting because they might make a difference. Pennsylvania, Trump is up 52% now. Michigan, Trump is up 54% now. Holy shit. It was neck and neck like 45 minutes ago. Wisconsin, he's up 51%.
What was Pennsylvania?
54% Trump.
Is
that right? No, Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania, yep.
It's like watching bad football.
Pennsylvania is up 52%. He's up by just a little over 100,000 votes with 28% reporting. That's Pennsylvania. Their polls closed hours ago.
That'd be a good conversation. Maybe I'll get Chris Davis back in here and talk to him about how some of that kind of works, like how different states have different systems and how it helps them report quicker and whatnot.
Biden's winning Arizona.
Yeah, I'm looking at that one right now.
220,000 votes.
With 80% in it? No, Pima County, they're talking about statewide, 73% of the vote in.
You know, if like Arizona's got 74% of the vote, but Pennsylvania's only got 23% of the vote.
Oh yeah, it depends on the system they
Do
have.
better.
We're back in North
Jesus,
Carolina.
man.
We're looking at North Carolina. It is 49.7 to 49.1 with 1.1% to all others combined.
Michigan, Trump's up 210,000 votes, 215,000 votes. Wisconsin, he's only up by 50,000 votes. This might go until Thursday.
Yeah, I honestly, like a lot of different analysts that I've heard think we're at least a week out before we get a real clear idea of what's happening.
So me and Sam were talking tonight when I was at the shop, and he said, no, it always goes to like 3 or 4 days after the election. But I don't ever remember that. I always remember
Well, that's what we're talking about.
election night. You
Right,
pretty much knew who won.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier, where you have the conceding, where it gets late in the night and the writing's kind of on the wall, and somebody will concede instead of continuing. And so like Gore didn't concede, and that's why we had to go through the mess in Florida, where had Gore conceded and said, you know what, it doesn't look like I'm going to win this thing. And so I think
Did Hillary concede to Trump?
I think so. I think the norm is someone concedes before
All the nitty gritty.
Right. And so we don't have to go through that part of it. So we usually have a concession and a winner the night of, but I don't think that's happening this time. And so I think
32% of the vote, Michigan.
Do.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, he's up by 150,000 votes.
I just want to see Florida. I think that's once we see Florida, I think that's when I'm gonna at least give up for the night and see what happens and go to bed and see what the world looks like in the morning.
He's losing North Carolina. He's winning Ohio. He's winning Florida. He's winning Pennsylvania.
Oh, he just took the lead in Virginia. He was behind in Virginia.
He's winning in Michigan. I haven't seen Virginia yet.
Yeah, I saw it earlier, and Biden was way ahead, and then it just popped up as like 54.
So right now he's winning all the battleground states, but he's losing North Carolina. He's winning Ohio, winning Florida, winning Michigan, winning Pennsylvania, losing Arizona. I haven't seen a Virginia.
Okay, seriously, this podcast ad just came back up, and it's introducing Kamala Harris next in line. Like this ad for this podcast ad is promoting it as if the Biden Kamala Harris race is already won, and they're talking to the new vice president.
That's funny.
I mean, seriously, it's been at least in every single ad break for the NBC streaming coverage of this. Every ad break's had that one in it at least once, if not twice, in the same ad break. Yeah, here it comes. It's coming right back.
It's coming again. Well, I joked about when I was watching. He's losing Arizona for sure. 75% of the votes, and he's down 100,000. He's up 200,000 in Michigan. No, I joked when I was watching NFL football that I was watching.
Yeah, that was a good joke. That
TV.
was a gem. I like that one a lot. It's like watching
football commercial.
Yeah, I mean, that's a conversation to have in the coming weeks is to try to do some research on how much was spent on this election compared to elections in the past. Because I'm going to say record numbers probably came out this year.
I would say so. I've never seen so many ads.
Yeah, for sure. It's been pretty nutty.
I wonder how many ads we're going to have this week. You know how like TV stations, like they have ads, but then they, something happens and they can't put the ad in on the time slot it is. They put it in the next day.
Right, and they owe they owe the advertiser for that for another slot.
Yeah, like sometimes you'll see like Black Friday sale and it'll be on Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
Because that company paid for so many ads and they didn't get them all in or whatever because for whatever reason. And then so they just run them the next day.
Yeah, that's what happened to Todd. That's what happened to Todd back in August. I mean, I